Thank you for following us and thank you for watching our TV programs. This is our time to say thank you and to encourage each and everyone who is following us to please subscribe. Please subscribe. Thank you so much. So last time we were talking about the street kids who were living on the street and their life at the street and their life that they're living here at UBUMWE Community Center. This is what we are still talking about. Like we said last time, we promised that we will be bringing everything that has to do with these kids, their life that they're living here at the center. So this is the kind of things they would used to do when they were still on the street. They could go at the street and they could come up with their own ways to look for money. So they could dance and people could give them some small money. So this, when they came here on this center, they had enough time to develop their talent here at the center. So let's look at how this talent came up and how they came up with a hop dance group. So when we talk about music, when we hear music, it's something that connects people all around the world. This is why UBUMWE Community Center decided to talk and to show people with their talents here in UCC. So we have a dancing group that's called Hope Dance Group. People do say that music, this is a soap that cleans people's hearts. That's true. Music can change someone's life. And it can be used as a tool to communicate to many people. Ludwig van Beethoven, he's a Dutch guy and he lived in the 16th century. So he said that music can change the world. It has power to change the world. Not only Beethoven talked about the power of music, but also Nestor Marley Bob talked about the power of music. Bob said that music is a positive vibe and when it hits you, you don't feel pain. So music is something huge. It has so many things into it. So today we're not going to talk about people who will play instruments, people who sing, but this time we're going to talk about people who dance, the dancers. And this is none other than the Hope Dance group that is found here in UCC. And this is a group that is summed up with people who used to live on the street. Now they're living in this community, in this center, and their lives have really changed. The trainer, someone who trains them, he's also a guy who used to live on the streets, but his life is changed and now he's here living here at the center and he's helping his fellow colleagues. So the guy found himself on the street when he was still young, he was even a baby. So some people do ask themselves, how can a baby live on the street? My name is UBUMWE Abubakar. My home was the street, but now I do live in my own house. I do have my own house in which I live. So I lived on the street for a long time. This is a kind of life that you find yourself in. It's not a choice where someone chooses to go and live on the street. So for a kid to go on the street, sometimes because of their family, maybe your family is poor, you have no food, you have no drinks at home, or you just rebel and just go on the street. But there are so many reasons as to why people do come on the street. My life on the street, I was told the story of my life. My parents lived in Congo before we came here in Rwanda. So as you know, when people came back into the country, that's after genocide, people were allowed to go back into their origin places where they used to live before they went in different countries. So that's what we were waiting for. So when my parents came back, they had small money, they had to go and look for a place, a plot to buy, and they bought it with people. So these people tricked them, and right after they had to bring some issues, so they had to start using the witch medicines. As you know, these are conflicts that people have in the community, in the families, or in business. So they started to use witchcraft and witch medicines or over my parents, like my dad. That's when he died. And my mom also had a mental problem. I didn't know that, and when I knew that, I had nothing to do because we were born, two of us, me and my sister. So I never lived with my sister, even though I'm talking of my sister, but I don't know her. But me myself, someone took me at his home. So this guy, he was a soldier. He lived in the barracks. He never took me to the barracks. He took me at his home, and they started to take care of me. But after 1 year, my mom came back and claimed, and because she had a mental problem, so they had to give me to her, and she took me back. When my mom took me back, so the guys that had conflict with my mom and my dad, when they saw that I'm back, they started to shiver, and they started to be afraid of me, thinking that maybe when I grow up, I will again come and claim for all our properties. These conflicts took much time. Everybody in our family, they were against me. They wanted to kill me, but the family of these people that whom we had conflict with, there was one guy who lived there. So when he saw that they were against me, they wanted to kill me, yet I was still young, he had to take me to Gisenyi town. That's where he brought me. So this guy, he took risk and brought me to Gisenyi. He never knew the place, and me too never knew the place. So we're not familiar with Gisenyi city, but he brought me here in Gisenyi, and he never went back. So he was also in danger. So this guy brought me to Gisenyi. He never went back home because they were against him, and they were against me too. So he started to live at the streets. We were living together on the streets. Eventually he started to steal. That's what he was doing. That was his job. The guy was living with a prostitute, and I was living there. So when he could bring money, the prostitute could cook for us and we eat. And this prostitute was living somewhere called Nyakabungo. This guy was called Rukara. Whenever he could go and steal and get money, bring and give the prostitute, then we cook, then we're able to eat. This guy who trains these other guys, he's sometimes invited even different dancing competitions in different events to go and entertain people because he's really talented. So this guy had favor before different people, could like her, could admire his way of dancing, his way of doing his things, but he was still living on the street. So how did he come to encounter these other small kids who were living also on the street? To unite these other small young kids in order to come up with a dancing group called Hope Dance. after
y'aho
3
aho ngereye
years,
mu
I
myaka
started
itatu
also to
ine
come up with
ntangira
different
kumenya
ideas
ibyo
of how I
twitaga
can work
gukubara
for
ubwo ni
myself
uguhiga
and,
nyine ugashakisha.
look for money
natoraguraga
in different ways. I was there with other different street kids. I could see what they're doing. Others were like beggars, others were like thieves. They could go and steal, others would crash like metals. But me, I chose to go and look for the charcoal woods to sell to different families so that I can get money. So I could pick beans, I could pick woodchuckles. By that time, to cross the border to DRC, it was easy, and because we were still young, nobody could ask you like all the documents. So I could take them all over to the other side. So the guy who brought me to Giseng City, because he was really addicted to drugs, and he came to the point where he was really down. So like he could work no more. By that time, I was already 4 years, and he told me that now you can go and struggle for yourself. By that time, there was a center where like most of the street kids could come and have some food or any kind of support. So that's the center that I joined by that time, and that center was called Abada Hogora. So this center turned into a transit center where people come and where people like us street kids, where we go and eat and sleep. But again, leaders look for families, look for different opportunities, like they can take you back and pay you school fees. They can look for a family that can adopt you. So I was taken back to a family, and I could not bear with the family, or I could not live there, so I ended up going back to the street. Disability is not inability. So to have any illness or any disability doesn't mean that you're not able. So these three ladies you can see here, they don't hear and they don't speak. But it's amazing to see these three ladies dancing with their fellow brothers in the same way, yet they don't hear and they don't speak. So Abuba shared the story of the tricks that he uses in order to teach them, and they all dance on the same level. Even though you have some disabilities, doesn't mean that you are not able. Everyone can dance. So even though they don't hear, they don't speak, but they can dance. And we have a say that watch over your fellow. If you can watch over your fellow, then you can even hear for him or her in order to unite and to bring your forces together for any achievement. My communication here with these ladies, it's not that much smooth, but I cannot tell them what I want because they will not hear what I'm saying. But I try to do, and they watch me, they follow what I'm doing, they imitate what I'm doing. Again, here in UBUMWE Community Center, we teach sign language. If you know sign language, it's easy for you to communicate with them. So these ladies are really talented, as you can see. They are really good dancers if their talents can be taken care of. But again, when we talk about dancing, it's all about what you see. It's all about what is in you, what you bring out. Even though they cannot communicate with their mouth, but they can communicate with their body. The communication, it's quite complicated, but again, it's about having the connection with them. And sometimes I bring forward one of them and shows because they are not all at the same level of understanding. So the one who is much more smarter than them, I bring her forward and I show her what to do, and she can go and show the others. It doesn't matter if they cannot speak or they cannot hear, but I have like a way of teaching them, divide them into two groups, and maybe one it doesn't hear, but the two can hear and can speak. So I make like a team of 3 people. So when you look at them, cannot tell that they don't understand the song, or they don't hear, or they don't speak. When you look at them, they are really enjoying what they are doing, and it's hard to tell when you find them in the group with their brothers. When they're dancing together, you cannot tell exactly that one doesn't hear or doesn't speak, because they are all dancing on the same level. So in this sense, when we are together, when we bring our forces together, when we bring our ideas together, we build something really good. That's how I train those ladies you see who don't hear, who don't speak.
ndetse nuko nguko nigisha bari abana b'abakobwa mwabonye bafite ubumuga bwo kutumva no kutavuga.
So I would like to thank you all, you guys who are following us on UBUMWE Community Center TV. So next time, be ready for the next coming up session, like episodes. So thank you so much. God bless you.